Morning decisions. A creamy mocha frappuccino drink? A sweet vanilla? Maybe a smooth caramel? Or that white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Start your day with bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drinks. Pick up a bottle near you wherever you buy your groceries.
The NBA playoffs are here, and I'm getting my bets in on FanDuel. Talk to me, Chuck GPT. What do you know?
All sorts of interesting stuff, even Charles Barkley's greatest fear.
Hey, nobody needs to know that.
New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in select states.
Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I knew it. Another Herdat Media production.
Hi, Chantel.
Hey, Roxanne.
So on today's episode, we are covering the Valley, which I felt like was it redeemed itself, because last week to me was a horrible episode. And I feel like this episode, so much happened. I have a lot to say about this episode. But before we get into it, I want to talk about the Mauricio Umansky stuff. Mauricio Umansky was spotted with another woman just a few days ago, blonde hair. Usually he's into brunettes, you guys. And he was spotted with another woman doing the typical stuff he does, like picking her up, squeezing her ass, all photographed. And let's talk on it. I mean, by the way, Chantal and I have been saying that he's been giving us the ick because he keeps getting spotted with a different girl every single day. And
I want you to explain to people why it gives you the big ick. It gives me the same. Like, I agree with you. A lot of people though are saying to us, like, I don't agree with you guys at all about this because he is single. He is a man. He's just doing what he wants to do. So like, why does it irk you so much?
Well, for me, I think it might be the age thing too. I think that at the end of the day, yes, he's single, but he also has some responsibility as a father of 4. And I do think he is having a midlife crisis, and he has young girls, one still being in high school. He's 54 years old. He's not officially divorced. And I think it's fine to date, I guess, but it's the way he acts with these women, and he knows that paparazzi will be on him. The way that he goes to like a ski lodge with people who are half his age and he's partying with them with his shirt off, the way he acts at clubs. Like, I don't know. I think that's so disrespectful. I get that you're single, but there's a way to be. There's a way to be respectful about it or just go on dates. But he's always so touchy. And I don't know, I just think a father of 4 girls to act this way, he has no respect or consideration for anyone in his family. I mean, if I saw my mom and dad be in love and have this solid relationship for the whole time that I've been alive, and then all of a sudden to see my dad act like this and be this inappropriate with a different woman every day, I think it's gross. I'm not saying that he's not single. And I did see that where people are like, why is this giving you the ick? And I think it's because it's a different person every day. That's why it's giving me the ick. And the women give me the ick.
Yeah, it's so gross. And I think a lot of times if you think about your own dad and say, okay, my dad at that age, if he's going out with all these girls, and I think it's the PDA for us, especially, like, why are you always like kissing and doing these things? Like, it's one thing to be out with a bunch of girls and like maybe like you're going shopping or you're out at the you're skiing with people, but then like, why is there always like the sexual to it outside? It's like, do that behind closed doors, especially like being in the public eye, especially, not being divorced, like you said, and having 4 daughters. It's a lot for sure.
If my dad did this stuff, I would not want to talk to him. I would look at him completely different. So at the end of the day, like, you can't control paparazzi, but you know that it's going to be there, and you know that they're coming for you. So it's like, be a little bit more private about it. If celebrities could hide with all the women that they all go for, then so can you. You can hide. You can not make it so out there. And I think it's just the level of how many women he is spotted with, and just the like you said, the PDA, the way he's like touching them, and it's so
it's like grabbing the ass and picking her up at the airport. It's like, that would be really cute if like we saw you do this with this girl that like maybe now you're dating. It's like, oh, he's been with this girl a little bit. This is the main girl, he's dating her, but it's like it's just like every girl. So it's just like, ew. It's like, why are these girls even going for you then if like you're treating them all the same and doing all the same things with them? It's just weird.
Yeah. And it's like, it sounds like when him and Kyle were together, he was working quite a bit. Like he was always working and it was a lot for her. And it's like, what happened to that work? Why do you have so much time now to be able to do this? I mean, if I was Kyle, I would look at it and be like, I complained because you were constantly working. And now it seems like you're constantly partying. It's just like this level of respect. He just did an interview where he was like, I still love Kyle Richards so much. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't, because you have no respect for her. And the way that you're acting shows that you have no respect. And some people are going to be like, look at her public display of affection with Morgan.
One person so far, same person.
Yeah,
it's one thing.
Exactly. And she still hasn't fully come out and talked on it. Whereas with him, we're just seeing him with a different girl every single day. And I think if it was one person, I get it. He's in a relationship. But
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
Trying to get his, thing on and get his, down there done.
I think he's always still traveling because it's like, it's always with like the women in the agency. and it's also, it's like, why are you doing that with people that you like that work for you? It's like odd.
On our Patreon, we did an episode, I think it was on our VIP, where we got hold of a thread and we read where all these people said that Mauricio was actually known to be like this while he was with Kyle. And after seeing him with a new woman every single day, I 100% believe that was the case. Like now I am 100% certain that he was cheating, but it sounds like he was cheating private. Kyle has even insinuated that he cheated. So it's like, if you were able to do that private, why are you so loud and proud about it now?
Yeah.
That's just how I look at it. Cause
it's funny. Like it's just so classic that like, it's like women that are so young. It just grosses me out, you guys. Like why are men like this? It's like, why? It's just weird. It's weird.
Yeah. But I did see, Chantal, that some people were like, why, what's the issue?
Yeah. A lot. That's why I wanted you to be very clear because he is single. Like they're not together. They are allowed to see other people. He can do what he wants. I just think it's just gross what he's doing. And we didn't expect it from him.
That's what it is. I truly didn't expect it. I always thought these rumors were just rumors. That's all that they were. But now I'm like, no, these aren't just rumors.
And he comes across, every time you listen to him on a podcast or anything, he comes across very poised, very like, he knows what he's doing in his life. He's like meditates every day. So it's like, it's weird when we're like, everyone's like, oh, midlife crisis. But it's like, is it midlife crisis or is it just, he's just being like a skanky skank over there?
I think he completely has ruined his reputation. I think you have Kathy Hilton and her husband literally laughing and saying, what a loser. And that's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
But let's get into the Valley because I thought it was such an interesting episode. They're still obviously on a trip and I know that they get a shuttle because they're going to go on a wine tasting. And some of them were like, oh, of course, Jesse. And I think Michelle had said this. Michelle was like, of course, Jesse arranges a wine tasting. And I'm like, wait, aren't they in Santa Barbara?
Yeah. And that's where you get your wine tasting.
That's literally what you do in Santa Barbara. Like that was mainly the number one thing. If you Google, what is there to do in Santa Barbara? It says wine tasting. So I'm like, of course, if you guys are going to Santa Barbara, you guys are going to do a wine tasting. And she's making it like he just wants to act like he knows everything about wine and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I was so confused about that because we literally for our 30th birthday went to Santa Barbara. And that was what we did, like a
all day thing.
Yeah. And we went to 3 different wine tours and it's like, that's what they're known for. Like people literally buy so much land and do it. And it was like the best experience ever.
It just goes to show like how much this this episode really, I mean, like we've been seeing it, but this episode really showed you like how much she hates. It's like not even like I can't stand you. It's like I hate you. Yeah. And it's like, and it still shows obviously in her confessionals because, in her confessionals, this is where she's always talking about him. Like she's throwing so many digs all the time, but she really can't stand the kid. Like she can't stand him.
Yeah. And everything he does is irking her.
Yeah. Which is crazy because it's like, how did you guys stay together this long then? Because it's like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. So, their shuttle the smoke ends up happening, which would scare the shit out of me. And they get out of the car. Some of the men did. Who was it? It was Jesse and who was the other guy that went out? I forgot.
I forgot too. I didn't really pay attention to that.
They go out to figure out what was like happening with the shuttle. And Jesse starts pretending to hitchhike. And this is when I'm like, dude, she hates, kind of what you said. Like she genuinely hates this man. And Michelle's like, I'm so glad people see what I have to deal with. Look at him trying to hitchhike. And he's literally out there minding his own business, not like he's just like pretending to hitchhike. And
he's just immature. And like, that's the thing. It's like, is there a crime for we see immature men? Because there's a lot of them, so it's like, he's just very immature. And I think that's what she gets so annoyed about. But it's like, people like think that's funny sometimes. So like what you think is like what you can't stand, like the group is not going to pick up on that.
Right. It was the most minor thing ever for him to do. And she's just like, oh, I'm glad people are seeing that. And I'm like, wait, what? Seeing what? What are we seeing? Like, loop me in. What am I supposed to be seeing that is triggering right now that I'm like, oh my gosh, like what a loser. I mean, listen, things give me the ick, you guys. I was like, I mean, what he's doing is like, I don't know. I don't even think I'd be paying attention to it. And that's it. I would not even be like looking at him. I'd be just talking to my girlfriends.
Yeah, as a husband or as a partner, like would I want a Jesse? Absolutely not. And I think both of us can say that, but it's just like, as part of a friend or a group, he wouldn't bother me.
Yeah. So they're trying to get that whole situation figured out. Danny had left because he had gotten a gig to do a voiceover. So he calls Nia to be like, okay, it's done. And she's like, I need you to stop at home. And we couldn't hear what he said. I guess it was like not mic'd up for us to hear what he said. But she's like, she ends up responding and she's like, listen to your wife. And like, what's the problem? Listen to your wife. And everyone's like, ooh, like what's going on? And then she ends up saying like, all right, I love you. And that's all that it was. Did you think anything was wrong with that conversation?
Not at all.
Yeah. I mean,
That's exactly how I talk. Like that's literally, and she's so nice. So like, she's actually nicer, but that's exactly how I talk. Like, just listen to me, what I'm saying. And then if he did and said, yeah, I would be like, okay, love you. Thank you. Bye.
And that's exactly how the conversation went. But they were just trying to
haters.
Like they were trying to make something out of nothing there. And I'm just like, and also like Nia didn't have to say that, but she does show her true self. Like if something irritates her about her husband, she makes it known. So something he said irritated her. And she's like, just listen to me. Like I'm telling you what you need to do. And that's that.
Yeah, good point. Because like if she wanted to be fake and wanted to be like that, she would like hold everything in.
Yeah. And just like have sent a text after and been like, okay, listen, like when I tell you something, just do it. Like, why are you making it a problem? Which is something I probably would have done. I would have probably just like sent a text. So, I mean, I did not think anything was wrong with that. They get to the winery and this is where Jesse ends up wanting to have a conversation with Michelle. At this point, by the way, he had drank champagne in the morning, like mimosas or whatever. So he's kind of a little bit drunk, but because the whole bus thing happened, he did get some rest in the shuttle. So I'm sure like he woke up a new person and it helped a little bit. Like he needed that rest, but they end up having a conversation where Michelle gets triggered because he ends up calling her hooker again. What did you think about the combo?
He's just so immature and just such a like he's and you know what, this would have been what I would have said if I was Michelle. Like, you're lucky I'm having a conversation with you because I can ice you out so fast, like what other people do in divorces, but I'm giving you the chance and giving the opportunity to like be nice to me and be cool because like we're co-parenting, but like he does make it almost impossible for her to want to do that. And I would be, if I was Michelle, I would not speak to him. I literally would not speak to him if he talked to me that way.
But so I agree with you. I wouldn't either because he goes low, right? But he's obviously super hurt and blindsided, affected.
Her still, and he loves her still, and he's still so confused by their divorce and their marriage, and he still tries to get under her skin for attention from her.
Yeah,
and but go ahead.
No, I completely agree with that. So he goes in with the right intention, but if something triggers him, he says something that he knows he's going to regret. And that's exactly what happened in the conversation with him. Now, Danny comes back and he's like so happy to be there. And they're definitely trying to play it like Danny has a drinking problem.
Yep.
And there were rumors, by the way, that Danny went to rehab. Just so you know, there was like a sign of Nia with a welcome home. And there has been speculation that Danny, the sign saying welcome home is because Danny went to rehab for drinking. And I mean, listen, I think he's on a vacation, so he drinks and he just doesn't know his limit. At home when he's with his wife and kids, I don't think he's sitting there drinking. And this is his break to have fun. Like, it's very hard to, have that routine every day of like, you're at home with little kids. And especially like, your wife is very stressed as well for good reason. And you're also trying to, think about her in the situation and what she's going through and her hormones and all that stuff. So I don't see it as a drinking problem. I just see it as a kid who doesn't know his limit. And Nia probably doesn't drink at all. So he gets excited, and she is like breastfeeding and stuff. So I doubt she's even drinking anything really. So when he's around his friends and he's on vacation, he is drinking and he's overdoing it. But I don't think that means you have a problem.
I know. I was trying to explain this like last episode, or the one episode before, where they did insinuate that the first time. It is a problem, because even if you're someone that doesn't drink all month, okay, but that one time you drink and you're touching girls' asses, you're being disgusting, you really don't know how to handle it. Like you can't handle your alcohol. So like you shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't drink. You shouldn't go out and drink if you truly can't handle it. If you don't know when to stop, every single time that you do finally drink, and like it'd be okay if he's drinking 2 bottles of like 2 glasses of wine and he stops, but it's like clearly he doesn't know how to control it, so that every time he does drink, he does spiral, he does have to lay down, he does have to do those things. Like there is a problem. Like I wouldn't like that. If I saw my husband couldn't handle his liquor every time he drinks, I wouldn't want him to drink. I would get so much anxiety the time he starts drinking. He's not a daily alcoholic, but clearly alcohol is a problem for him.
Yeah. And I do believe that Nia probably hasn't run into this with him, because they haven't been in situations where they're going to places, especially without their kids, especially because that's not norm. What they're doing is not normal. Having babies and like going to Santa Barbara, they probably would have never done that.
Yeah.
Going to events so often without their kids. So she's seeing the side and she's like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't have to be that you're an alcoholic, but it's like when you are drunk, you're so out of line, I guess. Or you do inappropriate things like, the way he spoke to Melissa, Jasmine's girlfriend, things like that. So, yeah.
Hiding drinking, which we'll talk about. That's like a sign,
Right. Well, he talked about it on Watch What Happens Live. So we'll touch on that. But, it's crazy because watching this again, as like a married person, you watch this and you're like, damn, money can really ruin a relationship. And it sounds like Michelle is so frustrated. And she's frustrated with like the financial aspects that came with being married to Jesse. And I don't think money is like the end all be all, where like if you have money, it saves your relationship or anything. I just think, every situation, there's like a downside to it. And, they are fighting in front of everyone. And she brings up the finances, which is like, I think that's just as low as like the whole escort thing. But, she's trying to get back to him. But then she says, she's like, you're accepting money from a gay guy. Like, why is a gay guy sending you money? And then she implied initially like, oh, for Isabella's birthday, their daughter, he sent you money, you keep it. But then she kind of implied that he was just like a gay guy was sending him money. And she's like, and you're taking it. And she's like, why would a gay guy ever send you money? And Zach's like, okay, we don't want him here. And I was backing up about that. But what did you think about her saying that? Because now she's insinuating that that's what he's doing.
Like he's the escort. Like, it's like, okay, don't like what are, yeah, I didn't like that either, because then you're just playing what you just got mad at. You're basically saying it to him too.
Yeah. Here's the thing. 2 wrongs don't make a right. So it sounds like he accused her of that. She went off, but now she's accusing him of that. And it's like, is it okay? I don't know. It could be retaliation, which I understand.
I just can't believe we're getting to see this on screen. Like, I cannot believe like we're getting to see like someone go through a true divorce and like they're forced to talk to each other. And like, this is what it is. Like, this is why, like, literally, if you're going through a divorce, you don't talk to each other.
And I don't think that they're understanding or realizing, because it's so fresh, their daughter is going to grow up one day and watch this. And you know how mortifying that is? Like, imagine right now, us as normal people fighting with our husbands or fighting with our soon-to-be ex-husband, and our kids seeing that, our kids would be messed up. They would end up being messed up knowing that kind of information. Like, all we do as parents is try to protect our kids. And, most people in normal relationships are saying like, if we are going to fight or if we have a problem, let's do it. Let's talk about it when the kids are sleeping. So we're trying to protect that from our kids. Their kid is going to have access to see how he acted towards her when he was drunk, the things she accused him of. And I'm like, I don't think that they're realizing that. And I think that's the saddest part of the whole thing.
I think right now, like at our age, let's say there was tapes of our parents arguing, like what do you think they would do to you?
Well,
Like, do you think that you already formed your opinions of your parents. So it's like, would it just
okay.
give validation? Would it just like make you think something different from one another? Like it's so hard to know because I'm trying to think of it from my point of view.
I don't think though that she's going to see this when she's
30.
33
Yeah, she's gonna see
years
when she's
old.
like 16.
I think she's going to see it, yeah, when she's 16, 17, 18. And that's like a crucial point in your life. And I think as a 30-year-old being married, I've had more life experience and I can look at this and I'm seeing both sides. I think when she sees it, she's still going to be someone who could be rebellious or feeling, I don't know, she's a different person. She's going to be so different from 20 to 25, 25 to 30. So I think that's the problem. If I saw it now of my parents, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that explains everything, right? And get over it. But because I told you, like, as I've grown with parents of divorce, I was quick to have my dad's back because my mom was trying to alienate me against my dad. But as I grow, I'm kind of like, my dad probably did put her through hell and put her through stuff and maybe he wasn't faithful. Like I'm seeing that now and I'm understanding why my mom feels the way that she does, even if she doesn't handle it in the best way possible. Whereas in high school, I didn't see it like that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. But it's just crazy because like money is just the root of all evil. And that really just, I don't know. If you don't, I guess like if you're really having money problems, that obviously makes things a billion times worse. But after they leave, Jesse and Michelle have a conversation, and Michelle is willing to meet him now that things have calmed down a little bit. And Michelle is frustrated because her daughter Isabella is confused with the fact that she has apparently two mommies. But I'm confused because Michelle is introducing her man to Isabella. So they both should just agree not to do that, especially so soon after separating.
I guarantee the difference is like, she's not telling Isabella like this is your daddy and you need to call him daddy, where like the other ones maybe are doing that. That girl that's toxic and like has already
I don't think that she's doing that. And it's not been insinuated that she's doing that.
But it seems that way because then he would have said, "Oh, Isabella's saying that she has two daddies." It's like it clearly like why would Isabella say that at a young girl saying I have two mommies to her mom?
Well, she's
and not saying I have two daddies to her dad.
Yeah, but we don't. Okay, so that's just Michelle's word of her saying that Isabella is saying that. We don't know that for sure. But I remember in the first episode where Michelle was saying that Jesse was saying, or that her boyfriend, like, was saying how he loves Isabella and da 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 da. And it's like, if there's no way that Isabella is saying the two mommy thing, but then having this man around her, which she's probably more around her mom, is not confusing her as well. I do think that Jesse was still drunk, so wasn't able to respond, or it could have been editing where he's like, and what about you? Because we know that the little girl has this relationship with Michelle's boyfriend and it wasn't brought up.
Yeah, I just think the biggest issue is that like, and it's easier for someone to know that like I'm in a more committed relationship and I know my relationship is not as toxic and she knows that this girl is doing all these things and they're not going to last. She's already cheating on him or already hooking with other people and like already threatening the baby mama. Like she knows that like this person is not a good person.
That's why
I think that's where it gets more like I would get more annoyed as someone watching it and saying like, why are you putting this person around my daughter when you really know that she's not the one, like if you're telling me she's the one and like she's a good person, like I don't see Michelle getting as mad because she's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. I could see that because I mean, this woman has done a lot of red flags in the whole cheating thing. We don't know that it's true, but it's alleged that she did cheat on Jesse. So as well. So, but I just think both of them, if they were really thinking about their child, could just say, let's not introduce our kid to anybody. Like, let's just not go there. We're not going to go there. But at the end of the day, he just wants her to admit the cheating thing.
Yeah.
And she finally does say, yeah, I cheated. I made out with someone. And again, I've said this with Michelle all along. I don't think it was really like maybe having sex. For me, Michelle was like probably always having an emotional relationship, which to me is way worse than a one night stand. Like it just is. And that's when he gets triggered. He calls her a whore. And it's not right at all what Jesse is doing. But I'm just thinking, Chantal, how we would react. Like if I am like trying to, if I'm trying to, at the end of the day, I want my husband to end up saying that he did cheat. Like, you fucking cheated on me. That's a big deal. You need to like own up to it. You need to say it. And then he says, fine, I made out with her. I made out with her. I'd be like, yeah, because you're fucking disgusting. You're trash. That's why you're trash. And I would probably say horrible things. So I know because Jesse's a man, we're like, what? How could he do that? And Jesse's not a prize. Like, I want it to be known that we don't think Jesse's a prize at all. But I'm just looking at it as a woman. Like, if I was in that situation, I probably, and I think a lot of women are like me, would look at you and be like, and that's why you're trash. And that's why you're garbage. And that's why you're this. And say like these like crazy things, because I am so fucking hurt that you actually went there with another woman while we were married.
Yeah. And I think that like, that's all he's needing is that validation. And also like, I also think that the reason he's even with this other girl is because, again, he just wants to get under Michelle's skin so badly. Like, he just wants to not feel so hurt. And I think what she needs to do is sit him down on the side, like a private conversation, no cameras, and literally just tell him exactly what went on in their marriage. And I think that he would have a lot of peace in that.
Yeah, because it sounds like she
toying around and saying I kissed someone and then there's an affair and there's not. It's like, just tell him what happened. Tell him what you did. Tell him what got you to that point, and then there's nothing else that he can pin on you.
Right. It's like he's like, you're making it. He's like, at least when I watch it, it's like you can just tell that he's thinking, you're making me crazy. You're making me crazy. Don't act like I'm crazy. You did these things. And every single time that Michelle is hit with the accusation of cheating or the cheating is brought up, she walks down the stairs and she does this. She's done this every time. She'll deflect and she's like, my husband refused to hug me. And, you know, I hate anyone saying that, because I had mentioned Austin from the Ace family on our last episode, the influencers, and his response to Catherine coming out about her cheating, or about Austin, cheating on her. And his whole response about that whole thing was, you know, I told her what I needed, which is I needed sex in this relationship. I needed to hook up, and she didn't do that. So I went elsewhere. And that's kind of like,
break up with me, end it.
And that's exactly where I'm going with this, is that she's like, he refused to hug me. He refused to tell me I look pretty. And it's like, okay, so then that was your excuse to have like an emotional relationship? Like, that's your excuse to do that? Because that sounds like a narcissist. Just like when I watch Austin from the Ace family response to Catherine saying he cheated, I'm like, you sound like a narcissist. That doesn't change the fact that you cheated. Like, you still cheated on me. Exactly. And also, from what we see with Michelle is someone who, she's very distant. She comes across cold. She's the one who comes across ice cold, where she's like, don't hug me. She's the one who, when she recounts her relationship with Jesse, says, oh, well, I was never into him. I thought he was like annoying. I didn't like him. I didn't like, that's all the things we see is her saying that. So it's like,
you know what, the whole cold thing and stuff, like her being that way, like I can see how she got there, you know? So like, I don't want to use that against her, because at this point, like, she already had the ick of him in the first season. And like, that's when we've already she's already was at that point, you know? And like, I can see us being like that, where we're like just cold and like, you know, just like, it'll get away from me. And our husbands would look like this knight in shining armors because they're nicer than we are, you know? And like, but that doesn't mean that they are doing right in the relationship at all.
Yeah, but then
I still agree with you though. It's like people are too scared. Like, they're too scared to just sit down and have a conversation and say, I'm leaving. I'm not happy. You could do whatever you want. You could say whatever you want, but I'm done and I'm going to do what I need to do. And yeah, we could take time to talk about what that looks like, but emotionally I'm done. Like, I'm done with this relationship. And like, I think that people are so scared to do that because they're just so scared of their future.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Or they're holding on to like thinking that things might change or something. And then it gets to a point where things don't change. And then they're still with them. And then they go cheat, you know? It's like, I already told them I'm done, but then I stayed with him and then they go cheat. It's just people just need to grow up and also just like man up and just say what they want in the relationship.
Yeah. Do you think that Nia and Danny are trying to portray this relationship?
No.
Okay, like this like perfect relationship. I
don't think I think this whole fight that you're about to get into is the dumbest thing, but I don't think perfect relationship. I think that they have boundaries for each other and the relationship and the show, which I think is very healthy. And I think a lot of people don't do that. And that's not our problem, Brittany, cough, cough, that you decide to be all open and not have any boundaries with your relationship. They have boundaries. They want to do that. They have every right to do that. And if you don't like them, kick them off the show then. Like if they don't if Bravo doesn't like them and they think that they're not opening up too much, then that's up to them to decide like, okay, we're not right for the show then. Don't have us.
Yeah. Well, so Janet I guess, was in the pantry and she saw Danny in the pantry and he was like drinking tequila. The way that she made it seem was like he was hiding it and it's because he has a drinking problem. So Zach lets Nia know that Janet and Brittany are talking a lot of shit about her, saying behind the back that they're trying to portray this perfect relationship. And Nia clocks it and she's like, just because your life is burning doesn't mean my life needs to burn. And Nia's very intelligent and I completely agree with her. So Nia literally is like, I don't want to hear this anymore, Zach. Like, I'm going to go and confront the situation. And she goes by the door and she still hears Brittany talking shit. And then Janet comes. So Janet immediately is trying to like save Brittany and she opens the door. Janet's fake as fuck. Like she is
Can't
the fake.
stand her, you guys. Like still can't stand her. She's trying to be a lot better this season. Absolutely not.
Yeah. She's so fake. And she, and like Brittany, when you hear her talking shit, she's like saying how Nia isn't real. She's not real. So Nia walks in because of course Janet opens the door and, she's like, well, you guys are talking shit about Danny being drunk. And
well, I think one thing we forgot was at the dinner, like she just kept saying like he's sleeping. Like she kept using the words, he's just tired, he's exhausted, like he's sleeping, you know, like saying things and not saying the word he's just drunk, he's sleeping. Like she didn't use the word drunk, and this is why they're at the point that they're at.
But maybe we could learn something from Nia, you guys. Like maybe we can learn something.
Literally.
Let's not put our husband down. Let's not put our wives down. Let's not say, oh, she drinks so fucking much. Look at her. She's an idiot. She's passed out. He drinks so much. He's an idiot. He's passed out. Like just to be like, yeah, he ended up just like going to sleep. Because again, this guy doesn't know his limits. He's the type when he drinks, he falls asleep. And like low key, that's like me, Chantal. Like when I
know. And like,
yeah,
you know, I could say, oh my God, Rexine's so drunk, she's so annoying. Or I could say she just passed out, like she's tired. You know, it's like I don't think what she said was such a problem. And then keep going with this conversation because she ends up saying, yeah, he is drunk. Okay,
well, it was funny because on our Snapchat, Chantal, yesterday, because we have a cousin Snapchat, they sent like a throwback. You know how every day Snapchat shows you a reminder from a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it's a picture of me passed out in the Bahamas when I went on a trip with Michelle and her husband and me and my husband. And they were all like, oh my gosh, why do we have so many photos of Roxanne passed out like that? And it's just me, the way like my hands are. We literally have a photo of this in every like vacation that we ever went on. Like even you didn't come to the Chantal, but when all the cousins went to Sutton Bay and up north, like we have the same picture of me doing that. We have that in Arizona at my bachelorette party. So, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like that's pretty relatable and that's okay. And would you think I have a problem because of that, Chantal?
No, not just for passing out, for drinking.
Yeah, I guess what they're saying like he gets to a point, but he does stupid stuff though. Yeah,
like, they're saying he gets inappropriate and we like people might feel uncomfortable around him, and it's like where you just drink and you just pass out, or you just drink and you throw up, and it's like, okay, you should know your limit for yourself so that you don't have to miss dinner and like miss things.
Yeah, so they're saying they just want her to own it, and like you don't have to be like, oh, but here's the thing, you guys were all drinking, you guys know why he's passed out, why does she need to say it again? Like just I don't know, super toxic. And then remember last season when Brittany passed out because she drank and Jax kept saying, look at her. I told her not to drink and look how she's passed out. And Brittany was so mad. And she was like, why are you telling everyone that I passed out? Because I was so drunk. Like I just didn't feel good. And she was going crazy about it. But now she's mad at Nia for doing what Britt wanted. Yeah, she's mad because Nia did what Britt wanted Jax to do last season and he didn't do it. So it's like you're deflecting and you're mad because just like you said, Chantal, they have boundaries and they have the relationship that you envisioned as a little girl. And instead you put yourself in a situation with a horrible man and had a horrible outcome because of it.
Yeah, I think no one who's married or has been in relationships looks at Nia and Danny and go, oh my God, they have a perfect relationship, because everyone knows no marriage is perfect. Everyone knows when you have little kids at that age, I'm sure they're dying. I'm sure they're cussing each other out all the time about silly things or however their version of cussing each other out is. Like, we know that's happening, but it's relatable to see them still be nice to each other and still try to make it work with each other. And like, that's what's inspiring. And like, we want to see that. Like, we don't need to see every fight that they're having, like every single time, you know, we want to see someone try to resolve issues shoes and really be nice to each other, because we see the rest of you crazy asses.
Yeah.
We need balance here.
Right. And so again, Brittany confronts her. She's like, you're not being honest about Danny being drunk. And she's like, yeah, he is drunk. He's passed out. Okay. Now what? And Brittany in her confessional is like, I just want Nia to be genuine. And I mean, Nia is genuine, because when Danny does something to piss her off, we all know, we all see it. We see what she says. She shows it. It's not like she's sitting there co-signing and defending his behavior. She makes it known she is upset with his behavior. So I am not understanding it at all.
I think maybe like the only thing I can think of is that like maybe Nia has confided in some of the ladies, and it's kind of like went around in telephone and like about something in her marriage maybe. And like we've yet to see it on screen. And like that's what Brittany's getting annoyed about. But I still don't.
We don't know that. But we don't know.
I still don't think that. I'm just assuming that maybe that's the way, or literally Brittany's just going through so much and she just can't, like, she's just annoyed. And it's like, that's your problem. No, that's your issue.
I think Brittany would have brought that up if that was the case. And I think Brittany has become the most unlikable human alive. And it's very hard to feel bad for her, because it's like, yes, you're going through a lot. Yes, you chose that time and time again. We watch you choose it when everyone said, walk away. You're going to ruin your life being with this man. And you still chose it. So it's very hard to feel remorse for someone like that.
I love how Kristen clocked them and said, like, you guys are like a bunch of losers in the sense, like, why aren't you guys saying it to her face when she was here? Like, why are you guys having to get, like, why are you guys like getting up when she leaves and like talking behind her back? Like, if that's a problem for you guys should be saying it to her. Like, it was just so immature and just ew. Like that whole, like them hanging around in the little room talking about something so silly. I was like, get me out. Like, I would cry if that was my group of friends.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm saying Kristen like really is the voice of all reason throughout the season, and it is crazy to watch. So Danny on Watch What Happens Live, like Andy had asked him, who would you least want to be married to? And it was a drinking game, and Andy was like, I thought you were not going to answer that. And he's like, Janet. Absolutely. I would never want to be married to Janet. Never want to be married to Janet. And then he asked, like, why were you trying to hide the tequila? And he's like, I wasn't. He's like, I went to pick out, what is it? What's the other one? The seltzer, or not the seltzer,
like High Noons or something.
Yeah, basically. He's like, I went to go pick out a High Noon, and he's like, and then I saw tequila, and he's like, so I fucking drank some of that tequila, and then I also drank my High Noon. Like, that's all that it was, is that I saw a tequila bottle, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, like let me drink some of this. And he's like, I wasn't trying to hide it. It's just where I found it.
Yeah,
walked into that.
That's like, see, like that's like why Janet is just so like shady.
Yeah, she's the one who's making nothing into something. And it's like, let's focus on your relationship real quick, because, you know, if anyone's trying to act like they have this perfect relationship, like, thanks, honey, for taking Jax to rehab, give me kisses. Like, it's totally Janet.
Yeah, like there's been no fire on their relationship.
Yeah. I think overall, this was a really good episode, Chantal. I know that we were struggling last episode for a very good reason, but overall, to me, this was such a good episode.
It's funny how like they did this. They're doing this with Atlanta too, in the sense of like, oh, they're bringing back Phaedra, and then this one's like they're bringing back Sheena and Lala. Like, where? Like, when are we getting this? Like the last 3 episodes?
Yeah, but they are bringing them back. Like they
know, but it's like where and when?
I mean, but literally, Bravo put them on every single after show. So
that's what I'm saying. It's just so crazy. So it's like, where are you guys? When are we seeing you on your screens? Like, I'm excited for that.
I think Bravo realized once they did film them, and once they realized they're going to put them on full time, that's why they're included in all the after shows, and they're slowly starting to get included in all the press. But like, honestly, I don't need Sheena and I don't need Lala. Like, it's fine without them. The show is working so well without them. And I know people love Sheena, but I find her to be annoying. Like, I don't want her on the show.
Yeah. I just think they bring a different like flair, and there's familiarity with them because we've seen them for so long on our screens. So I like to see like and follow them a little bit more, but yeah, we'll see what kind of energy they bring.
Yeah. Overall,
I think it's just going to give someone like a Janet or like even Brittany, who thinks she's like on her high horse with her group of friends, like a run for their money a little bit.
Yeah. Overall, for sure. Overall, a really good episode. I feel like our listeners are also really into the Valley too, which is great. So let us know what you guys think about the episode. But I think that's all that we have. Yeah, Chantal, anything else?
No, that is it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Let us know your thoughts on the Valley this week. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.